Well, welcome back. We're going to start the second half of the morning with a bang. We're going to have a fireside chat with two inspiring young executives and ladies in our industry. We're going to spend the next 15 minutes talking about if and how carriers can be the architect of a global, seamless, multi-channel customer experience. So without further ado, I would like to welcome my two superstars on stage. I would like to welcome Divya Wakankar. She's EVP Strategy, Business Development, and Chief Marketing Officer of BICS. And my second victim is Amira, Akra. She's Product Manager, Messaging at Vodafone. Ladies, welcome to the hot seat. Come closer.
Thank you.
Don't be so far from me. I won't bite. So we've heard a lot about messaging this morning. We're going to talk about something quite different, carriers, the role of carrier in Omni-Channel. So Divya, let's start with you. How do you think the role of telecom carriers has evolved in the last few years, and most specifically in making customer experience and engagement better?
Yeah. So first of all, thank you, Isabelle. You called us the young ladies, so I'm so glad about it. So good afternoon, good morning, everybody. Yeah, Isabelle is the star, and she always flatters us. Very good question. And first of all, I would like to say we plead guilty. I'm speaking on behalf of Amira as well. We are from the carrier community. And I know there's so much talked about this morning about, the carriers and the pricing. And we agree with all of that, right? So we are not here to defend ourselves. But indeed, there is a lot happening, and I think exciting times for the carrier industry and for the entire ecosystem, if I can extend that too. And if you look at the carriers, messaging is one part of their business. That's what we have been talking about, right? They are doing more than that. And now the carriers are also realizing that customer centricity is a must-have. That should be the central piece in their strategy. This is the shift that they are doing from the infrastructure provider to a consumer or customer-focused organizations, right? And they are changing their OSS, BSS, right? I always hear about when we talk about carriers and we talk about the technology, we always refer to them for their 5G core or their 5G access, right? Everybody talks about that. But what about the OSS, BSS, right? It's a heavy lifting there as well, right? And if we want to make the entire ecosystem, the value chain to grow, it is very important that we have to invest in our OSS, BSS as well to make sure that we can have new business models with our customers, with our enterprise customers, with our consumers. And that's very critical for us. Secondly, they are also adopting Omni-Channel for their own purposes, right? They are coming up with their mobile app, with web, with AI-based customer support, social medias and all that, right? And now, if you look, some of the operators have come up with the instant customer support, right? AI-based, right? So they are trying, to give value towards the customers, which are the consumers for them. So I think operators are trying to evolve in the ecosystem. The technology is one piece of it, where you talk about the 4G, 5G, and now we are already talking 6G there. OSS, BSS is another layer, and I will speak about it as well. What is the piece that they should work much faster? I think the speed is something that, we are kind of missing. Agility is something that we have to bring in, which is, I think, an important core element to it. But indeed, they are also realizing the pain point in the industry, right? And this is kind of the focus as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Amira, anything to add to that?
Basically, she said it all, but I think what's important also here to say, it's the partnership with the people around in the room, right? So it's not an only standalone position at the end of the day in the environment. The omni-channels, they are learning, the operators are learning, seeing, trying and testing. Each situation, each department communicates with its customers, whether it's the end customers or the enterprises in a different way. And they have to see what's the optimal way what's the best user experience that they have to deliver on that part.
Okay. And what about the value? What value can carriers bring to the table when it comes to enabling omni-channel?
I think that basically it's the experience from talking with their customers. At the end of the day, we also are like the facing face where we get the complaints from the customers, if they have any ticketings and so on. We see what kind of systems are we offering there, what's the best way to handle it. Is it via the chat? Is it via calling directly into the customer and solving it on that part? So it's very diverse, it's very complex, and finding this kind of mix of the best optimal way to communicate, I think this is something that we're still learning in the process.
Okay.
Yeah.
And for carriers that want to be, relevant in the omni-channel story, what is the key to success? So part of it, I think, is the data that they have. We say data is a new gold. How can they harness the data that they have to remain relevant and bring value?
Very good question, Isabelle. So, and I brought this topic. I'm also part of, by the way, board member of MEF. So I brought this topic on the table yesterday at the strategy day, and we are going to have some follow-ups during the Mobile World Congress. Because I think it's not only a question for the carriers, but also for the entire ecosystem, right? We all are part of the same value chain at the end of the day, right? So carriers and harnessing data, right? That's an important element for them, because if they go for it, and I'm implying the regulation and the compliance has to be taken care of. I mean, these things needs to be talked about. There has been a Draghi report which already talks about Europe's positioning, right? And in general on the digitalization, and of course it has an impact on the carriers as well. But when we look at the data, it can help the carriers in order to make sure that they have kind of a personalization at scale that all of us are looking for, actually, right? We want to make sure that we personalize the service. How can you do that? Well, if you have the data, you can make sure you can get the anonymization there. You can bring in the elements that you can share with the CPaaS providers or with other, your partners to make sure that they can provide the services. They can derive the insights, because carriers have the visibility on all the channels that are going through, right? So they can derive, okay, this customer, what's its behavior over this channel, over this device, right? And how can we make sure that next time we can have an expectation what the customer is looking for? And that's why some of the carriers are already investing in the CDP, the customer data platform, so that they can build this across and they can help us, the whole value chain, with kind of I think it was Gavin who talked about the optimization of omni-channel strategy, right? So they can help in optimizing, right? I mean, which channel is a preferred channel for me? Which channel is a preferred channel for Isabelle, for example? So those kind of things can be shared, and operator can take a central role. And also for security and authentication, I think, and I really I'm excited about it. They can at least give it a try, in my opinion, to become the custodian of the KYC, the information of the customer, and can provide that, right? Because they are a neutral party in the entire value chain. So I think that is the role that operators can take in the ecosystem.
But it's not always the green land, right? It's not always easy, because whenever I hear data at the moment, I freak out, right? I think about privacy people, I think about lawyers, the compliances. So especially, for example, in the German market, and I know that we plan with a lot of players here also in the room who work on identity topics as well. It's not that easy to get that implemented. You also talked about knowing each customer, which type of channels. This is some kind of like profiling. And once you mention this word, profiling, like, no, it's not allowed in Europe or in Germany, let's say. So it's very market specific. It's a hard way, and I'm sorry that I have to always be like the pessimist on this side, but this is like the reality of how it is. Yeah.
Okay. What about the partnerships? Because making this happen, nowadays, in looking into the future, we need more and more partners than ever. So what type of partnership do you think carriers should look for when they want to address the omnichannel experience opportunity?
Okay, so basically it's dependent on the operator at the end of the day. So they can build their own systems, their own channels, and decide how they want to manage them, or they can look. I'm sure that there are a lot of partners here who have long experience in the market, who have also like enterprise exposure. They can learn from that. They can choose one preferred partner, or for different use cases, they can partner up with several people depending on their expertise in the market. So it's a mix. There's no one solution fits it all at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What about BICS?
Yeah, and I can speak on behalf of the Proximus group as well. I think, of course, I go along with what Amira mentioned, but for operators, I think it's also very important to look into the technology partnerships. I think that's an important element where we are talking about hyperscalers, partnership with them, and Proximus recently did a partnership with Microsoft. Also looking into it, we are also doing partnerships with system integrators. Infosys is another example. We have done a press release on it as well. So we are looking into the entire ecosystem. We are checking whom should we able to bring value for our customers, and based on that, we are building the partnerships, right? And the ecosystem is really big there. And it is not always about the omni-channel experience, I must say, because we have a bigger, a portfolio of services, and we consider that if we can improve the capabilities across the board, it will eventually lead in enhancing the experience for the end customer. And that will be in the benefit of everybody in the value chain. So from that aspect, we are looking at so definitely technology partnerships, system integrators, we have a kind of channel also approach there, and with a lot of, firewall providers to make sure that we are protecting our networks as well and our consumers.
Okay, we have time for one more question, and the question will be about money. Everything's about money. So where is the money for carriers when it comes to enabling omnichannel? So we've talked about data, but what other opportunities is there for them to make money?
Very good question, Isabelle. And I think we have talked a lot about A2P pricing, and that is being a blocker for many of us, and an issue. I think RCS is a great opportunity for the entire ecosystem to work together and to bring the conversational side of the story. But also, I'm quite positive about the Camara APIs, the Open Gateway APIs. I would like to see that as an initiative by all of us. It is going to take time to, for product market fit, like Robert talks about, right? But we have to go for it, right? At some point in time, it's kind of an incubation for all of us, right? We have to do it. And there comes different type of use cases. We talk about one-time password security use case, but you also have the geo fencing use cases. It's a new type of services that you can offer in the marketing, right? And also about the QoD, where you are going for a concert and then you would like to have a live streaming, and there you can ask for it online, right, at that point in time. So these kind of things are going to generate money for the operators and for the entire ecosystem. So I think the use cases have to evolve. I think we have been there for a long time on one-time passwords. Now we are going into conversational APIs, but it has to go further.
Okay.
For sure.
Amira?
I cannot add any. It's not all about transitioning what you already have from one pipe to another pipe. It's that new revenue streams, and conversational messaging, for example, is one of that, for sure. Yeah.
So to close on our fireside chat, with one word or a short sentence, how do you summarize the role of carriers in the future of omnichannel?
That's a good question. I hear so much from everybody about the carriers and operators. I think they are enablers. We all have to agree on that. I think they can play a very important role as orchestrators, and they have great assets, right? They have the end consumer relationships, they have the network infrastructure for delivery, and they also have the data, right? So they have the right means they have all of us in the ecosystem to help them. So I think they can really take a central, neutral role to make sure that they enhance the customer experience and can help the whole ecosystem to thrive.
Okay.
Exactly.
Amira, the last word is with you.
Like Divya said, but I want to throw it here in the room. Come to us, talk to us. So we're always open, we're always transparent. I always, when I talk with my partners, I say, what do you need to make this easier for you and for us? Because at the end of the day, like you said, we're all here to win, but also to deliver the best user experience.
Super.
Yes.
Thank you so much, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.